I'm an assistant professor at the University of Iowa, and I teach animation. So every day I teach a few hours, and then the rest of the time I'm either meeting with students, doing administrative work, or my favorite thing is to be producing animated shorts. So I usually like to devote the majority of that time to making films. I think the main reason why I wanted to make animation was the fact that it was so cutting edge and that there wasn't really a strong history or basis for it, that the idea of it being wide open to be able to kind of be your own trailblazer in a sense was exciting to me. I mean, I always loved playing with technology, whether it was taking it apart or building it. So I felt the combination of both the art aspect of it and the creativity and then the technical aspects felt like it was like ideal for me. So then I was a TA for Robert Hamilton, and he taught animation multimedia. And when I was a TA under him, he mentored me and he gave me some insight and ideas in terms of what I should do afterwards. And I told him I always wanted to do animation, but the idea of teaching animation, then producing short films was something that he helped guide me. So then I went and got my MFA, and then naturally I went into that role. You know, I originally thought I would be making movies, like for Hollywood or something like that. But it turns out I'm making my own little version of Hollywood in my living room, so to speak. So some of the transferable skills I learned here at my master were, I think, research, communications, and presentation skills. I think every semester we had to work in teams too, so that collaborative aspect I think is very strong. Outside of that, there's certain aspects that I think people have to learn on their own, which I feel that there is that slight void in the education tract where, you know, being able to speak to people in a passive-aggressive nature, I think those kind of skills and building loyalty and trust in people I think are very important in what I do, and I think that helped me a lot being able to get some of those skills during my time here. There's a few social clubs I was involved with. They were Campus Crusade for Christ, Asian Focus, and the Multimedia Club. And they're all a little bit different in terms of the type of people that were in each club. And I think being able to relate to different sets of people, and almost in a way, maybe this is too strong of a word, but maybe like a chameleon, where you're able to understand this type of social group versus this social group versus this group, in terms of not only culturally but also the values of each group, I think were important. So that way, when you are in the real world, you can also very quickly determine the general makeup of somebody. Other kind of job titles that I've seen with people with the skill sets of fine art multimedia right now are, I'd say, primarily in web, whether it's being a web designer or a web programmer or even a social media expert. I would say those are the hot things right now. There's probably two things that I love about my job. The first one is inspiring people. So whether it's in the classroom or outside of that, kind of trying to be a positive role model and thinking the positive things, because sometimes people don't necessarily see or have that perspective, because a lot of us have this short mind frame, you know, thinking about this week, but really you should be thinking about months or years ahead. So being able to inspire like my students and be an example, I think for me is very rewarding. The second thing would be the flexibility of my job. So what I mean by that is every day is not really the same. There's always new challenges, and I don't necessarily need to be in one particular place. So the flexibility to be able to travel and work remotely and research like in Thailand, is a nice thing. What will prepare students for the future is what I like to say: don't sit on your hands, because you've got to almost think, like I said before, 5 years in advance, and at the same time you've got to put money in your pocket. So if you can work on something that is your passion, that has some sort of monetary value, I think that's a huge advantage. So I think some other advice I could give current McMaster students is that they should advertise as much as they can that they're trying to learn, and they're trying to maybe get work too, because I think there's so many opportunities. The work that you do as a student, your professor sees that, and if it's really good work, they're not going to forget you. Your professors have a strong outlet for employment, and I think students don't think of it that way. That the professors are spokespersons, because all these professors need to do is refer and say, hey, this kid is good, and that's it. There's not even an interview, because they trust the professors in terms of who they think have the skills for the job.